You're a phenomenal listener. When someone's got as much going on as I have going on in my life, I've got very little time to be a great listener. And the way that I'd beat me is be a better listener and share what you've learned in those situations to be a better listener.
Yeah.
You'd beat me 10 out of 10 times.
Well, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Like, it's hard as it comes across to anybody sitting and watching this. But salespeople are not natural listeners. A lot of salespeople go into, I'm great because of this, I'm great because of this, my company does this, et cetera, et cetera. But to your point, like, to win an opportunity to have a deepened relationship with somebody in a sales capacity is the act of listening.
Hey guys, Wally Elibiary. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. You know, I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right, so today you're going to meet my twin. And when you meet my twin, it's pretty darn cool to hear like the story of how we met. And this dude was a cold call, a flat out cold call. And it's, we'll get to that in a minute, but I think it's super special. I don't know if you're a believer in God. I know you and I both are, but believer in God or believer in spiritual. And hopefully I didn't lose too many people to bring that up, but it was definitely a God thing how we met. And this is the Palmer Holland. And we met when I met Palmer. It was through LinkedIn, messaged you. And then Caleb reached out and set up a lunch, which turned out to like a breakfast. And within the first like 10, 15 minutes of the breakfast, we both figured out we absolutely love Christ. We're both in mortgage. We both gave up drinking alcohol. And we both were trying to grow our business. We both had a unique relationship with our spouses and how we started our families.
Right.
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So at any point where you're like, this dude has to be lying. Like, there's no way that there's that many similarities.
Well, I'll circle back a little bit to it because the LinkedIn. I received an invitation on LinkedIn, and I had started to become a little bit more intentional with like posting. I think that's kind of like what drew in the radar there. And I'll remember we did a Zoom call before breakfast.
Right. Yep.
And we jump on, and I had like a bookshelf behind me. We started talking about books or whatever. And after like kind of like the intricacies of like getting to know each other, you're like, so what can I help you with? And I remember I laughed and I was like, I don't know, dude, like you reached out to me. And then we chuckled and we really just gravitated towards a lot of the similar characteristics that we have. Yeah. And then, we hit it off during brunch for sure, man. And it was, there's a lot of things that I look towards in my life where things happen for a reason, I guess is the best way to say it. And God puts people in our lives that need to be there, It
was also funny. I think my assistant back then, Stephanie, sent you an email to try to schedule us for brunch. And she said, Wally's in Plano. You got, when you come to Plano, he goes, and your response was, no, if Wally wants to have brunch with me, Wally's going to come to me. And it was like Arlington or something like that. It's like 30, 45 minutes away. And I'm on the chain. I'm like, damn. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess I'm going to Arlington.
Yeah. We met in Arlington. I can't remember. It was a good brunch spot, man. Like I hadn't been there before. But it was interesting, like the first dynamic that we had of each other. So,
but I would say also, like, you being in mortgage, me being in mortgage, the best professional relationships have been really easy to be personal relationships.
mhm.
And when I coach loan officers on how to grow their mortgage business, I walk them through, okay, go to MMI or go to Redder, figure out the top 100 agents in your city. Narrow it down to the top 25 that you would want to do life with.
Mhm.
And if you can narrow down the top 25 that you want to do life with that have a lot of buyer side deals, it'd be so much easier to to succeed with them personally, right? And you look at like real estate agents compared to loan officers. Not only would I look at who would I want to do life with, but you've been in my house, you've met my wife,
Mhm.
and at the end of the day, like if Nikki and I were on a blind date, or I'm sorry, if we're on a double date with this couple, this realtor couple, would when we get in the car, would she be furious at me, or would she feel like she made a good friend?
Right. Yeah.
And it's been pretty neat to see. Nikki's been my closer
Mhm.
because if I can structure it to where it's a top producing realtor, their spouse, usually the wife, really can hit it off with Nikki as a friend.
Mhm.
And then we go on that double date together. I mean, Nikki just like goes to town and befriends him. And like
Mhm.
before you know it, like now I've got a personal professional connection, then I got a personal relationship, and it's really easy to get business.
Mhm. Yeah. I think one thing, like a big journey of mine here, like this year, has been coming to the terms and understanding that, the adage, like, focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
And I've really started to focus on just what you said, like friendships,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think I look at it a lot of times, and who does, as a loan officer, who doesn't want to be top 1% and like have all these accolades? But this year for me has been a year of discovery with going just that, which is okay. So how do I love what I do, right?
Yeah.
Like it's easy to fall into this kind of paper pushing, thing where you're just chasing production, instead of surrounding yourself with people that you actually enjoy working with, or you don't. Like I have quite a bit of realtor friends that we don't conduct any business with, that I just enjoy as people.
Yeah.
They're faith oriented. They share very very similar core values. And if we do production together, great. If
Yeah.
not, like I'm at a place where I'm happy with that because I can have other types of relationships with them, which is nice.
It's been pretty neat too, because if you surround yourself with people that it's easy to do life with, it's so much easier to succeed with them. And I think it's the biggest misconception most loan officers have. They
Mhm.
feel like they've got to go out there and kiss butt or whatever the case is, and they got to get business from whoever that they can get business from instead of get business from who they want to get business from.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not a coincidence that in my mortgage career, 65% of the realtors that I work with are golfers.
Mhm.
It's easy because I golf. The 55 to 60% of the loan officers that work at Aspire are golfers,
Mhm.
certified
Y'all
coaches at
do
24/7.
do like to golf.
A lot of golf, right?
Yeah.
But it's so easy to do life with that person
Oh.
and do experiences with that person and to do trips with that person that you're trying to get in a relationship with when it's just natural.
Mhm.
And I don't care if it's bingo night. I
Mhm.
don't care if it's sewing. I don't care if it's whatever. Figure out what common denominators of life that you really enjoy as a loan officer that you feel you can do life with your referral partners. And those relationships will be so easy to manage, grow, and blossom from.
Mhm. Those are the long-standing relationships. They're relationships, not transactional.
Yeah.
Kind of like blips in your career. Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest challenge where, like, I was coaching a loan officer yesterday, and they said that, yeah, I get about 40 leads a month. And I said, I don't get leads.
Mhm.
Well, what do you got? I get referrals.
Mhm.
So the biggest difference between a lead and a referral, a lead is somebody that here's John Smith's name and number. You call him, he's interested in buying a house.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, the referral is, hey, John, meet Wally. Wally, meet John. Hey, John, Wally's the best in his field because A, B, and C. hey, Wally, John is looking to purchase a home and he's trying to do X, Y, and Z. Can you two please get together and let me know?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's they're expecting the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a realtor that you want to do life with, they want to do life with you, they'll go the extra mile to send you referrals instead of just simply hand you leads.
Mm-hmm.
And I always saw that as a common denominator of the best referral partners I've always had professionally with the most amount of production. I also had the best relationship personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then where I think there's a game out there that all us top producers play that majority of loan officers don't even know the game exists.
Yeah. Edification, right? I think like if you know somebody on a personal level, especially as a business partner, real estate agent, financial wealth advisor, CPA, there's a level of here's so-and-so's phone number, or here's 3 people's phone numbers, give them a call, to this guy or girl is the best in the business. This is who I would trust with my own stuff. And that level is only going to be achieved through somebody that you've built a personal relationship with. In my opinion.
What was the word you said?
Edification.
You just taught me a new word.
Yeah.
I didn't know the word.
When you edify somebody, like, you know, I would say really great things about Wally or, you know,
there's not much.
Whomever. Yeah. There's a ton, dude.
There's 1 or 2. Edification. All right, cool. He just educated me.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, man, I love it. So, off topic question.
Mm-hmm.
When in our friendship did you decide to copy my eyeglasses?
Dude. All right. When did we find out? I think it was like one of the videos that you did, your live videos. I was like, hey,
I've had these for like 2 years.
Yeah,
you're a copycat.
So I had black ones. I had black frame ones, and I think, you know, I don't know. It was subliminal, I guess.
He's being polite. He wants to get up and punch me in the face.
No, you're good. No, look, the see-through glass frames. Yeah. That's what's in, man. Like, you're trendy, right? Like, you know.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. No, man, I think I've really enjoyed our friendship.
Although I would say that yours probably are a little bit more expensive than mine. These are like $35 from like no man's land up in New York. Yeah.
Oh, they're both. I bet yours are not bifocals though.
No, they're not.
Yeah, mine are bifocals. Yeah. Welcome to almost being 50. All right. So let's get back to some nuggets here.
Yeah.
So what are some takeaways that you've taken from either a 24/7 mindset on the coaching aspect of it, or as our mentorship has kind of blossomed, that you've implemented?
Yeah.
That you've seen be successful for you?
I would say processes, right? In your book, you talk about leveraging 3 things: humans, technology, and systems.
Got it.
Right?
Good job.
I read sometimes. And technology, like, you know, I jumped on the Jungo train like in June, and then I've always been relatively decent with technology, and I just started kind of like customizing it. And I knew about Jungo, but it wasn't until, you know, I really dove into 24/7 and talked to you about it. But systems was the biggest takeaway.
Really?
Right?
I mean, there's nothing special about me. I just follow systems.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of things that are special about you.
There's not one single thing special about me other than I can follow a series of steps.
Yeah.
Which is called a system.
Yes. But it sounds so simple, you know, that you hear a lot of people talk about it, but the way that you have been able to articulate it in writing and then through the academy, you know, the university, I don't want to say it dumbs it down, but it breaks it down into a really applicable way to look at it. And I've talked to, Brent Hicks and listen to other, very successful people in the industry, and they all preach systems and things like that. And I think what clicked for me was reading it from how you experienced it and how you implemented it.
Well, the Brent Hicks of the worlds, or like those dudes are like super smart. I'm a phenomenal problem solver. I'm not very book smart. And so I teach in a way that's really simple because I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
Like if you ask me, I've already forgotten that word you taught me a second ago. And don't ask me to spell it.
Yeah.
But like the point being is you give me a very complicated problem. I can dissect that thing down to like 19 different steps and give you granular of how to bring those steps to life.
Yeah.
But and I put this in the book, and there is no like derogatory thing of this means, but if you can really master this next thing, the world is your oyster. And it was a Jay-Z quote, and he said he dumbed down my dollars. I'm sorry, I dumbed down my lyrics to double my dollars.
Mhm.
I dumbed down my lyrics to double my dollars. He wasn't calling his audience stupid. He was saying, way I was speaking to my audience, they weren't able to digest what I was sharing, so it was landing on deaf ears. Once you're able to share in a way that the other person digests it, they're off to the races.
Yeah.
Like that Jingo mastermind that we did together about technology together, we showed you everything we built out. I expected wholeheartedly you to be like every other loan officer. Hey, Wally, can I pay you to bring this to life? Because I'm lost. And the next freaking time that we talked, you had it built out, top graded, and everything was already done. I'm like, how'd you do this? How did you do this?
Yeah.
But there was zero chance you would have been able to do that if you weren't as smart and as willing as you were, but you needed somebody to dumb it down.
100%. Yeah. I laugh about it, and Marissa, you'll probably watch this later if you're not watching it right now. But
hold on, talk about your wife watches your podcast.
I told her about it. Right?
There's zero chance Nikki's going to watch.
Yeah.
This.
So
I've tried. I really tried.
I have to be extremely PC with this, but for those of you that know my wife, right, we are an interracial couple, and a lot of times she'll talk to me about systems, and she was a processor. I was telling Matt out there, she worked with me for a couple of years and kicked her out of my office, then took her office, and then then she resigned, kind of deal.
Can't imagine why.
It sounds a lot worse than it is. But there's an ongoing joke that we have where I'll come to her and I'll say like, hey, Wally said this, or like I read this in Wally's book, or whether it was another coaching program or something like that. And she's like, you just needed a white person to tell you that. She's like, I told you that like 3 years ago. And I'm like, okay, all right. And nothing derogatory about it, right? I just want to be extremely transparent with it. But here's what I'm going with it to amplify what you said. KISS, right?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of high level thought that goes into sales and technology and how we conduct our business in the mortgage industry. But when you specifically are able to break it down for somebody based off of a very granular level, and then somebody can grasp it at a very small understanding of what it is, it's a beautiful way to articulate intricacies within our business at a level that anybody can understand.
Well, I think the beauty about it is what Albert Einstein said. He talked about how if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, you don't really know it.
Yeah.
When you think of it that way, if I can't explain it to an 8-year-old, then I'm just chat GBTing, which I'm going to write you out here in a second. That just reminded me of something.
Please don't.
No, I'm writing you out.
I use it way too much.
All right, squirrel moment. Let's just jump to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember where I was. Anyway, we were talking about business planning the following year. This dude, I'm like, all right, send me your business plan. This dude sends me like a 46-page business plan.
It was 52.
52 pages. Yeah. It's like chat GPT. And my response to you back then was about that Albert Einstein quote.
Yeah.
If you can't explain your business plan to an 8-year-old, not only do you not understand it, but you don't own it, and there's zero chance anybody's going to follow you.
Yeah.
24/7 mindset was built on systems and philosophies that you can explain it to an 8-year-old, and it's easy to follow, which makes it easy to implement.
Yeah. There's another piece that resonated with me. So I think I shared with the book Persuasion, The Psychology of Influence by Dr. Robert Cialdini. And he goes through the 6 principles of persuasion and influence. Okay. One of them is commitment. And he talks about in the book, commitment and that this goes along to what you said. Like, yeah, I threw in, I think my response to you was like, yeah, Chat GPT shot this out, but I input all the, I threw in like all this stuff and trying to justify it. Right. Yeah. But to the point of it is I went back, and I don't think I shared it with you, but I went back and I dumbed it down, and I wrote it personally, how my 5-year vision plan was. If I would have utilized the Chat GPT 52-page manifesto of how to get to 200 million, there's lack of commitment, right? Because I didn't actually spend time doing it. I don't own it, right? Yeah. So,
and I just think it's something that all us listeners, all us loan officers need to understand. You can't copycat your way to success. You got to own your own roadmap to success. You've got to own your own destiny to success. I mean, there's plenty of coaching companies out there that say you got to call 100 realtors a day, 100 realtors a day. If you want to cold call 100 realtors a day, I am not your guy. You want to focus on your database? There's 0 human beings on this earth that are better than me than helping you maximize profitability from your database. And I delusionally believe that because I've got the receipts.
Yeah.
For like we talked about earlier, but let's resonate that. Let's flip that around and say, okay, so from what you learned how to go from a 52-page Chat GPT business plan to a 1-page one that's owned by Palmer, how can you flip that around and coach your realtors the same way that now you become the next 90 days coaching them up to where they have 2026, their best year ever in their career?
I think the first step, and this is something that's clicked recently for me, the first step is to be intentional with your approach. It's easy to, come up with a script and, have all these good, shiny objects and ideas and present them to real estate agents or referral partners. Say, this is what's going to boost your business, and not really understand the intentionality with it. So that's the first thing is if I'm going to pour into a partner, I'm going to do so from a place of like, not just saying words and throwing shiny objects at them so that they can, send me business and then my ego is inflated. It's to do so from a place of like, all rising tide raises all ships. So dumbing down a 52-page vision to I think it's 2 pages actually. It's not 1. It's 2 pages.
You got some work to do.
Yeah, I know.
You got to bring it down to 1.
I have to summarize it a little bit more. Maybe I'll use Grok. To do that. Not Chat GPT this time, but it's in your book you talk about lenses, right? And I think it's putting on an appropriate lens of understanding these small, simple things that you can do to empower your real estate agent partners to help them grow. And a part of me too, and this is something that was always really difficult for me, is coming from a place that like I always feel like I need to be liked, like there can't be tension with me and anybody. I have to always be in this kind of like image in somebody's mind where like I've got it together and all these other things. And recently, it's come to a place where it's not as important. And I think there's beauty in helping, as it pertains to business, helping a referral partner grow that I might not know how to do and finding it out together.
Elaborate on that for me. So give me has that happened, the situation like that?
In small details. Yeah. I think, I do a lot of like, training on like, social media marketing, and there's a lot of people that are in the real estate community that, don't use technology that often. And I happen to be blessed with understanding how to use technology, with ease. It's just, I don't know if it's my age or, my, whatever. So, hey, I'll be 40 in January, man. So I'm, wow. Over the hill. But, in showing somebody how to do something, I found it extremely beautiful to find out new things together. So I'll expand on that. I have presentations that are built out that show real estate agents how to record certain types of videos, green screen videos, B-roll videos, talking head videos, etc. And there was a training that I did, I think it was last week or the week before, and somebody had shot out a question regarding how to use Instagram. They weren't actually, we were doing green screen videos and it wasn't actually working for them on their phone. And I walked over and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. Like, what's wrong with your phone? Like, it doesn't look like what it's supposed to. And it was a moment of vulnerability for me because here I am teaching this class to people as a authority on social media and technology. And then, I'm presented with something I don't know. And we pivoted and we laughed and we found it out together. And now I saw on Facebook that she's like in her 50s. I saw that she is, recording videos and green screen videos and things like that. So that's a very small example of it.
Yeah.
To where I now have confidence to go into situations with partners with the intention of helping out, although I might not know the exact blueprint, if that makes sense.
So do you believe that specialists get paid more than generalists, or do you believe generalists get paid more than specialists? I got him here.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And as it pertains to us or just in general? As a generalist?
Yeah. You as a loan officer. I'm sorry, senior mortgage professional.
Is that what my thing is? Yeah, I don't know. Senior sounds old. I don't want to be senior.
Oh my God, answer the question.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's an industry standard that specialists would be deemed as being paid more than generalists, but...
Well, let's talk about doctors.
Yeah.
Does a open heart surgeon get paid more or less than a general practitioner?
Open heart. Yeah, an open heart surgeon does. Yeah.
Okay. Does a architect that specializes in blah, blah, blah get paid more or less than a architect that is a generalist?
I would say the former. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it goes in any industry.
Mm-hmm.
It could be from hip hop to mortgage to real estate to social media. Where I look at you and I feel like you've got a massive special gift that I don't think that I'm going to go on record here and hopefully you don't get up and punch me, but I don't think that you've really maximized on is your special gift with social media and teaching. You have a phenomenal presence to you that is very unthreatening at all, but there's a lot of verbal wisdom that comes out of your mouth when you're talking about systems and technologies. So I would identify if I ever got your skills, I would identify where are real estate professionals or whatever industry you're going after to get mortgage referrals from. Where are they? What are the top 10 things that they're drastically weak in that space? Then position yourself as the industry expert in those top 10 things or top 3 things, top 1 thing, whatever it is. Niche it down. I niched mine down to database. I niched mine down and was very successful in closing $100 million a year in the sake of focusing on my database. For me to get from go to 100 million to 200 million, I had to focus on my realtors databases and my wealth advisors databases. Yeah. Once I was able to adopt databases, once I was able to call my realtors database and help them generate commissions from their past clients and their database, the business blew up. But so I had to be general, like most loan officers are. Then I became a specialist. Then I became an expert in a niche. That's where, in a 3-year span, you go from 100 million to actually 2-year span, you go from 100 million to 200 million. Where can you see yourself in the future that you become a specialist that 10x is your income, 10x is your production, 10x is your potential?
I had never thought about the social media aspect before. And I'll be completely vulnerable and open about it. Marissa and I were just talking the other night. And I was like, okay, so, I go to the gym all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, right. So just bear with me. You're not helping. You're not helping this. I was like, I go to the gym all the time. I do the cold calling. I do the face-to-face meetings, and comparison is a thief, right? And so you open up social media and you see some things, or nowadays you have technology where you can look up people's production. And I'm like, okay, so why don't I look like this? Why don't I sound like this? Why is my production not here? And I think, I had this really real moment. It was like, am I just mediocre? Like, am I a mediocre person? And I just haven't, I'm just not realizing it. And I don't want to say that by any means to say that there's some type of piece of me that says that I'm not mediocre. I think probably now is not the discussion to go into it, but you could expand on it so much. But where I was struggling the other night, and this is just Monday. This is Monday night, where I was struggling, and this is why football needs to come back on, right? Because Monday night we wouldn't be having this conversation. Is maybe it had something to do with the generalist, right? Theory that you have is I haven't really expanded on what my specialist thing is, whether that's in personal or professional.
Well, for me to be able to stand up on stage or get behind a mic or put it in my book in a 12-month calendar period, I helped generate $2.73 million in commissions for my realtors, my CPAs, my financial advisors, my family will attorneys, and my insurance agents, and be that bold about it, put it out there in the universe publicly for anybody to critique me if they choose to, or question me if they choose to. And I have receipts from these referral partners, and I've got tracking from these referral partners that I've generated over $2.735 million in a 12-month calendar span. I can stand confidently and say, I'm a specialist in that database.
Yeah.
There's no one better than me nationwide as a loan officer that helps realtors optimize their database. In your niche, how do you build that same level of confidence?
Receipts, right?
Cool.
I think
it's like what we talked about earlier out there.
Yeah.
How do you have these small wins? And I was telling him earlier, I've had an amazing, super successful day. I got up this morning. I worked out. I read. I walked. I cold plunged. I mean, that's 5 huge wins before I even rolled in the office. And when you start thinking about that, and this is a book that I recently read last week that is absolutely just blew my mind. It was called "A Gap in the Gain." And I made a post about it, and I don't think I've ever made a post about a book so much that all these accolades about this book popped up. Different people chatting. And Benjamin Hardy was the author and co-author with Dan Sullivan. But what was so amazing about it is there's a system that they talk about. It's, again, a system that before you go to bed every night, write down in your journal top 3 things that you feel you crushed in your day. And when your subconscious mind is listening to that while you're sleeping and resonating that, you wake up energized and focused on, dude, I just had a super successful day yesterday. Let's have another one. When you have a real estate partner that you help them generate a commission or you help them generate a referral from their database, or in your case, you help them to get more engaged with their database through social media, and you've got those receipts over and over and over, the confidence level just goes through the roof.
Yeah. It's a good point. I'm kind of taken back a little bit because I hadn't really ever thought about it at all. Speechless, I guess. You did it again, man.
It's not really good for a podcast.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I will tell you this. I love the idea of writing down your gratitudes at the end of the day. We had I told you that I started a men's Bible study with some friends, and yesterday we had one. And one of the things that we talked about, and I apologize if we're doing faith podcast now, but this is where the word is calling me.
If you've got a problem listening to this and you want to cancel and unsubscribe, please feel free.
We got on the subject of what does your day look like if you wake up and you throw out or remove all of your earthly ambitions, and you just listen to God and what he calls for. I think what you had said about like writing 3 things down at night resembles that in a light, because you're most likely in that scenario going to be extremely grateful for everything that you have, all of the small or large accomplishments that you have. And then it's going to reframe your viewpoint on the world, where we have a propensity to, like, oh man, my phone won't stop ringing, or like my phone won't stop, people won't stop texting me, right? Like, instead of going like, man, I'm blessed to be able to have an opportunity in this industry, whatever industry it is, where people are calling me and asking me for advice.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. You got me choked up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think don't hold me to this, but I think I might want to commit myself to, instead of me writing down in my journal, I turn over and I tell my wife, Nikki, the top 3 things I'm grateful for that day. Just because I feel like the accountability aspect of it, if I'm mad about this or frustrated about this, and like, she's the type that would checkmate me in a conversation of like, and keep me more accountable.
I fell out, and I'm trying to get back on the train of it, but I have a reminder that hits my phone at like 5:05 every morning to text Marissa something that I'm appreciative of her. She's asleep, like, and usually in the gym or something like that at that time. So I'm not going to like wake her up, but the accountability piece to it, if you turn to Nikki and you told her the 1, 2, 3 things or whatever, like, I believe the compounding effect of where you would feel as well as where she would feel would be astronomical over time.
This might make me a bad husband, but I just thought of this. I just visualize what you just said, and I see her be like, okay. and this go back to reading her book. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But no, I just feel it's, one, it will make our relationship continue to be stronger.
Yeah.
And we had an interesting talk 2 nights ago that we're like, man, we better get along, because we're all each other's got left over. These kids are gone, and it's just us now. But it's funny. Like, we're sitting in the hot tub last night talking, and I said, I'm kind of excited to see the boys both are coming back in town this weekend, but I'm kind of not excited about like the tornado that comes with them. I was telling her it is super awesome when I get up before I go to bed and I fix the couch and the pillows are perfect, that I wake up the next morning and the couch is still perfect and the pillows are still there. It's an amazing feeling when you go out to the backyard and you put all the golf balls on the putting green and you got it all organized, and you wake up next morning and the putting green is still organized. Or like you refill the refrigerator with like waters or sodas or whatever, and you get back the next day and there's still waters and sodas in the refrigerator. But she reminded me that that's the whole point of having the chaos that we love as parents.
Yeah. No, dude, we're in a stage now. Like last night, I put Riley's our youngest. She's 3. She'll, I'll put her to bed around like 8, and then like 11 or so, she'll crawl into bed. And last night, like, we had both of them in there, Addie and her, and I ended up just picking both of them up and putting them in their bed. And then this morning I woke up and Riley is like sprawled out on top of me. I'm like, when did you get back in here? And like, it's easy to get into that, like, frustrated or like, man, I didn't sleep well, this is why kind of deal. But then you take a moment of gratitude and you're like, you know what? These are the moments. And this is, this might be a little bit of a tearjerker, but I saw something the other day, and it was a video on Instagram or TikTok or something like that. And it was a lady reading, I guess like she's just reading or just talking. She goes, imagine you as an 80-something-year-old person are now transported into your body, and you're now 30 years old, and you're laying in bed, and you have small hands crawling up in your bed. And instead of you going to that natural place of like, oh, I need to sleep longer, you have the wisdom of an 80-year-old person, because now you're just in your younger body and you have the ability to relive those moments. And so what the imagery was for me was, and I think Greg and I were talking about it too. Like, as you're in the moment, like naturally, a lot of it is it you get taken back in like the day to day stuff, and you don't have an opportunity to really kind of like relish in those moments of, man, like I got a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, like this is beautiful, or you know, whatever it is, whatever it is with kids or just like mortgage, right? I think in our industry, being able to go, man, I don't have 40 referral partners that are giving me a deal a month, but hey, I got 5 and we're really good friends, and being able to sit in those moments of appreciation and gratitude, I think are really powerful.
I think also I made a mistake. Allegedly, I made a mistake yesterday. Well, I'll tell you in a couple days if I made the mistake or not. But my youngest son texts me. He's a freshman at Baylor. He texts me, go, "Hey," and I responded back. I said, "Well, this sounds expensive."
Mm-hmm.
Hello back.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "No, if it's caught you at a bad time, Dad, I'll we can talk later." I'm like, "Okay, now I feel like a jerk." Good framing job. So I responded back. I said, "No, you didn't catch me at a bad time. What's wrong?" And he goes, "Nothing. I was just calling, reaching out to say hi."
Yeah.
And knowing my 2 sons specifically, I almost feel like I'm going to get hit up for something.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend, and if I get hit up for something. And if I do, it's probably going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I think a mistake I made as a younger parent is I worked so hard to get them ready to get out of the house that I probably didn't really enjoy the experiences with them as much as I could have. I mean, you and I are in completely different shoes. I've got 2 boys and you got 2 girls. My whole mindset was I've got to get these boys ready for the butt kicking called life that's ahead of them. Right. Yeah. So I was a super militant, aggressive driver, forceful authority figure as a father. It gave both of them a very strong edge, and it gave both of them a lot of verbal strength. But I could probably count on one hand their whole childhood that they ever cuddled in bed. And I count on one hand that they ever snuck in bed and slept with us. And I woke up next morning, they're still in bed.
Yeah.
So kudos to you to have that kind of relationship with your daughters.
Oh yeah. No, it's for Addie, it was a problem because I'd be like, oh, like she could just hang out with us. We'll like throw on a Disney movie or something like that and go to sleep. And Marissa is like, dude, get him out of our bed. Yeah. Like, and so a lot of it, I was the instigator with it, but I appreciate you sharing that because it does provide me a little bit more gratitude towards it.
I mean, now we cuddle and sleep with 3 dogs.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so Nikki wants a 4th, and I know she's not going to listen to this, but there's 0 chance I'm getting a 4th in my head. But I'm probably going to break down and I'm getting a 4th. Yeah,
it's all right, man. You'll live.
Yeah. Just another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think I've enjoyed our talk, but I'm gonna not let this go. So let's go back to that. Let's spend a couple minutes on what could your niche be that you can build receipts that there's 0 chance you go up against any other loan officer ever again and you don't win.
I honestly, I don't know.
I don't know is not a good answer. So let's flip this around a different way.
Yeah.
If you and I are going up against the same realtor.
Yeah.
It's you and I. I work at ABC company. You work at X, Y, and Z company. How are you going to beat me? Or am I just going to own you? Am I going to beat you?
Do I know you? Like, do I know who you are?
You can make up whatever rules you want.
Yeah.
Let's just say you do know me.
Yeah, I do know you.
How are you going to beat me?
I don't know if I would be able to, and I'll expand on that. I don't for any like Star Wars fans, like, I don't want to be a Sith Lord and live in absolutes, right? Right? But I think I would do what I do great, which is educating the client. I would well, we haven't received referrals, so this is just the real estate agent. I would just be as genuine as I possibly can. If I were to carve out a niche, I would maybe speak to social media, but I would just be genuine and just say, I'm looking to connect just to connect. I don't really feel like there should be this kind of like sales kind of thing that I would need to grasp to. And if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. I mean, I don't know if that's an answer, but that would be the approach that I would take with it, because
Okay.
I would find opportunities potentially elsewhere.
I would use my strengths as weaknesses.
Mm.
I'd use my strengths against me.
Mm.
And if let's flip this around and say you're Wally and I'm Palmer, and I say, hey, I know your current lender is Wally, and if you follow him on social, you see he's traveling here. He's got his book out. He's got his academy. He's got this out. Dude's got it all. I mean, I don't think he's ever failed once in his life. But with everything he's got going on, I doubt that you get personal one-on-one calls. How often do you call him and he actually picks up?
Mm.
How often do you call him and his assistant's got to call you back and schedule a time for y'all to talk together? How often do you call him and you don't get an answer right away? Is he available on the evenings? Is he available on the weekends?
Mm-hmm.
I would use what's your competitors, what they have that is really going well for them against them, and sell the value of how you're different.
Mm.
The other way I'd beat me is the number one thing that wins any relationship, if it's a referral for a realtor or a client or any of that, it's whoever knows the client the best.
Mm-hmm.
And the client feels that they know him the best.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that beat me is I would have the conversation of like, okay, so as we've talked, realtor person, I've learned this about you, this about you, this about you. Here's where I can add value to help you with this. Here's where I can add value to help you with this. Here's where I can add. Are these similar to the same conversations you have with Wally?
Mm-hmm.
Most likely they're going to be not,
mm-hmm.
right? The other loan officers you ever compete with. So you're a phenomenal listener. When someone's got as much going on as I have going on in my life, I've got very little time
mm-hmm.
to be a great listener.
Mm.
And the way that I'd beat me is be a better listener and implement and share what you've learned in those situations to be a better listener.
Yeah.
You'd beat me 10 out of 10 times.
Well, yeah, I would. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, meaning like look at your other competitors out there and look at the top realtors you want to go after. And I never sold that I was better than anybody else.
Yeah.
But I sold every time that I was different than anyone else. Mm. And I listened more about their goals and their desires and their wants. And there's a great book called The Coaching Habit. It teaches you how to listen to the questions behind the question by listening to tone, pitch, and facial emotional descriptions when they're sharing their stories. Mm. And reframing it back, hey, you just told me A, B, and C, but my gut tells me you felt X, Y, and Z because you told me A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. And if you can relate to how they feel, there's an emotional connection and a bond mm-hmm. that it is unmatched. And whoever's got the best emotional connection and bond wins the business.
But one thing that you hit on though too is the act of listening. I don't think salespeople naturally have the ability to listen naturally. Like it's as hard as it comes across to anybody sitting and watching this, but salespeople are not natural listeners. They tend to be, how many stories do you hear of like coaching programs where they're talking about like, if you get somebody on the phone, don't vomit on them, hear all the great accolades. New Sales Simplified talks about that, your power sales statement, right? Yeah. And a lot of salespeople go into, I'm great because of this, I'm great because of this, my company does this, et cetera, et cetera. But to your point, like to win an opportunity to have a deepened relationship with somebody in a sales capacity is the act of listening. and understanding what, one of the questions I ask any new agent that I'm, interviewing is, I want to learn what's important to you as it pertains to your business. I want to, kind of dive into the specificities of, pain points, with your current relationship. And then I want to potentially show you how my team and I can emphasize and overcome some of those through a partnership. But the very first thing that I want to do is I want to ask them a series of questions of, how has your year been? What does your next quarter look like? What are you going to do to get there? And what does your current lending partnership look like? How do they add or subtract from your business? And then what I'm doing is I'm asking intentional questions, but I'm also intentionally listening for opportunities where I can excel. And there's been some interviews where I'm like, dude, you got it made. Like, you're working with a great person, like, it's a pleasure to meet you. At the very least, we've connected. You know me, I know you. If you see my pre-approval letter or whatever it is come across, you kind of have an understanding of where we are. And I'm not going to try to take food off of somebody else's table or like disparage against their name or anything like that. And so I think, again, circling back to it, leading with intentional, genuineicity. I don't think that's a word. Genuineicity. I'm coining it right now, but that, I feel like that's kind of my superpower, is to just be extremely genuine.
Have we found our niche?
Genuineicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think so. We've got to harness it, I think, a little bit more.
Have you ever read the book, The Go-Giver?
No, it's on my long list of books. Yeah. Every time I talk to somebody, I'm adding a new book.
Well, it really resonates with the term that you just made up. The Go-Giver teaches you, and when I read it, this was like 2012, 2013. I probably read it 6, 7 times, but it really resonated a ton with me because I stopped tracking how many referrals I got in, and I started tracking how many referrals I gave out. The more I gave, the more I got.
Yeah.
You have a very special gift of disarming a stranger and making them a friend by how genuine you are. I don't have that ability. I'm this jerk that's like sees a target and then goes hits that target like that, and blinders all in that. But the point being is, like, you know who you are and you got that special gift. How do you monetize that through relationships? By giving that special gift to them. And a lot of it's going to be you just giving, you and giving, you and giving, you giving. And the beautiful thing, there's another great book by Adam Grant called Give and Take. And he talks about there's 3 different types of people in the world. There are the givers, there are the takers, and the people that give and take evenly. The most successful people and the most happy people are not the givers, and it's not the takers. It's the people that give and take evenly. The givers end up getting taken advantage of by the takers. The takers end up running out of givers to take advantage of. And it's the people that give and take evenly. If you partner with other givers that are realtors or referral partners, and you both genuinely are giving with each other, that niche is unmatched.
Yeah. 7 levels of communication.
Michael Mayer.
Talk about that in the very beginning of it. Like, I think one of the exercises he has in the book, as he's going through the story of it, is each day, finding 10 opportunities to serve somebody, having a servant's heart.
It was like 2014, I had Michael come out speaking, and first speaking engagement I ever had, where I had a big time speaker to come in. And the dude rolls up, and this is like Glen Eagles Country Club here. And he rolls in. I got maybe like 80 realtors in there. And he goes, all right, where's my clicker? I've got my PowerPoint. Where's my mic? And I'm like, I never set up any of the AV stuff. And and he just looked at me. He's like, what do you expect me to do? There's like 80 people in the room. And I went and grabbed the dude highlighters and a whiteboard. And here's this like big time speaker that was teaching realtors. And he was such a gracious person. And we've become good friends over the years. But Michael taught me the best sales lessons I've ever heard. And it was his 3.5 most powerful questions. And it's how I spoke to you at brunch that day. It's how I spoke to I speak to my wife, how I speak to my kids. It's what is your number one biggest challenge in your business today?
Yeah.
Question number one. Question number two is what have you tried to do to solve that biggest challenge in your business? And question number three, what are you going to try next? Question number 3.5 is by when. It's a conversational, not interrogation.
Yeah.
But it's a conversational process that you're able to find out the referral partner or the client's biggest problem. And if you can go out there and solve their biggest problem, you automatically beat me, Brent Hicks, Denise Donahue's, Ryan Grant's, all the big names in the mortgage business. If you can solve your referral partner's biggest problem, you own that relationship.
Yep. Yeah. I love those questions. I totally forgot about those 3 questions, man. Yeah, those are powerful questions.
So next time anybody sees Mr. Palmer Holland, ask him, keep him accountable about his niche, and as you've been able to bring it to life. So, all right, as we wrap up, I'm going to give you the closing thoughts. So spit us out like 15, 20 seconds or 30 seconds of like wisdom that the listeners of the 24/7 Mindset community will definitely like want to learn from you.
I'm going to paraphrase a Bible verse, some scripture I think would be fitting. It's in Matthew, and it goes something along the lines of not to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough to worry about. Focus on today. And I think the reason why I want to choose that as my closing statement is I know personally I sit in a bucket of anxiety sometimes with things that are on my calendar and schedule for the next day or so. And if I take a moment and I just realize that let's focus on what is in front of me at the moment, all of that anxiety subsides, and it reinforces that, like, bro, just take it one step at a time and you got this. Yeah.
Well, that's always one thing I've always loved about you. And I've said this to you many times. I love that you can recite Bible verses and know where they're at and say them beautifully. I officially cannot. And something that I aspire to do.
There you go. Yeah.
So cool. All right. Thank you so much, everybody listening. Hope you've got some nuggets out of today. Palmer is a stud and a half. He's become a really good, close friend of mine. And the biggest thing is iron sharpens iron. So what I want to leave with you today is being able to have a heart of gratitude and listening to awesome people like this, but also looking to add value to them. But you give to a giver. It's an amazing feeling. You're an absolute giver.
Thanks, man.
So, all right, guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you. So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.